TEDxBrooklyn. How are you guys feeling? All right. I'm very excited to be here and to share with you a very important idea that I feel is relevant for our times. It's called inspired excellence. But before that, I want to give you some context, some backstory. And so let's begin. I want to tell you a Brooklyn story. The year is 2006, Franklin Avenue, between Park and Prospect. A young woman races up the stairs of her third-floor walk-up, and she's consumed by a singular question. Now, we've all asked ourselves this question, though we may have used different words to ask it. And whether it be a whimper, a whisper, or a wail, we know what it feels like when that question rises within us. What would it take for me to reach my full potential? I mean, what would it really take for me to live the life that I am truly meant to lead? That question inspired me to create a company dedicated to helping individuals, businesses, and communities answer that question for themselves, as well as create tailored strategies in order to attain that result. At the heart of this work is transformational strategy. Because when we start to ask ourselves how we can reach our full potential, whether we're an individual or an entrepreneur, what we're really doing is saying, what is the strategy I need to employ in order to transform? Paulo Coelho has a quote that I absolutely love, and I always use it whenever I do my seminars and other workshops. It says, every human being has a personal legend to be fulfilled, and that is our reason for being in the world. So can you imagine how powerful that is? That everyone in this audience right now has a personal legend, something that is meant to rise within you and be expressed in the world? My mother used to say, we're all here on an errand, which kind of takes the pressure off, right? A lot of times we're like, oh my God, what's my mission? But when you think about it and you think, wow, I have an errand to take on. I have a couple of things I need to do while I'm here. I believe that that thing that we're meant to do is to allow the unique expression and desires that we have within us to rise to the forefront and allow it to be a contribution to the world. And that's why I want to share with you this construct called inspired excellence, which is really a strategy, a path, a method, a way for us to move beyond our own limitations and access our full potential. But before that, I want to actually introduce you to a very powerful book. And it's written by one of our own philosophers, right? American philosophers, Dr. Seuss. And it's a book that I read on the first day of my class to my grad students at Columbia, because I think it's a very powerful book for our times. It's called On Beyond Zebra. And On Beyond Zebra stars the protagonist of Oh, the Places You'll Go. By a show of hands, how many of you guys know Oh, the Places You'll Go, right? Yes. When we graduate from junior high school, what do we get? Oh, the places you'll go, right? When we graduate from college, what do we get? Oh, the places you'll go. When we get our first job, what do we get? Oh, the places you'll go. And that book is so powerful because what it does is it sets up a foundation for us to understand that, wow, this is a wild world out there. There are so many journeys for us to take, and we'll get lost along the way, but we're going places. And that's a very inspiring story to tell, but that's just half the story. In On Beyond Zebra, what Dr. Seuss does is he allows us to see the strategy for us to actually go those places. It stars the same protagonist, but he's a lot older, and he's schooling this little kid named Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell. And Conrad is like, A is for ape, and B is for bear, and C is for camel. And he goes all the way to Z, and he goes, and Z is for zebra. Aha, I know everything there is to know. And how many of us have thought the same thing, right? I know everything there is to know about this business problem. I know everything there is to know about my husband or wife. I know everything there is to know about me. But the point is that that young protagonist grabs the chalk out of Conrad O'Donnell Odell's hand and says, everyone stops at the Z, but not me. If I stopped at the Z, I could never see the things that I saw when I went there. And so I feel like this concept of Beyond Z is so relevant for our times because many of us have come to the end of our known. Our governmental structures, our political structures, our structures within, we have that point of limitation. But when we actually say, let me move beyond my Z point and let me start to craft a new possibility for myself, for my business, for my community. And that's what inspired excellence is. It's comprised of 5 simple keys that are meant to not only inspire individuals, but businesses as well as communities. Let me introduce them to you now. The construct of the key is powerful because what it presupposes that each and every single one of us has something inside that we are meant to unlock and express. So the first key is that of embracing purposeful intention. Too often we don't actually take the time necessary to sit and think with and sit with our why. What do I want out of this experience that I call my life? What do I want out of this business that I'm about to launch? What do I want out of this relationship? The more that we sit with our purpose and our intention, the more that we can actually move beyond our limitations and really grasp that opportunity that stands before us. And if we go on that path and we lose our way, we have an organizing principle. We have that clear intention to always hearken back to, so that as we move forward, we can always be guided back. And that's really what the power of embracing purposeful intention is all about. The second key is about curating inspiring source material. Whether we're aware of it or not, every conversation we have, the art that adorns our walls, the friends that we bring to us, the food that we eat, all of it is an act of curation. And the more that we become conscious stewards of what we're bringing in and out of our lives, the more we can really start to experiment and paint beautiful masterpieces in our businesses and in our lives. The third principle is identify and commit to our values. Too often, we don't really know what it is we want. And when we do know what we want, we're not willing to commit to do what it really takes. It's not enough for us to say, I want a healthier body. I want a more expressive, creative energy in my life. We have to be willing to commit to what it truly takes. Because when we commit to it, that's really when we start to emanate from a space of excellence. The fourth key is honor your uniqueness. Every single one of us have something unique, a unique combination. And neuroscience, as well as other studies, are showing that, right? It's almost every single month a new book launches, right? 5 love languages, our personality types, our temperament. That means each and every single one of us have a unique combination, and we will never be like anyone else. So when we're there surfing on Facebook and we're feeling that FOMO, fear of missing out, and we're looking at someone else and saying, oh, I wish I was like Sheila or Dan. Or a business is saying, why can't we be like Nike? Or a country is saying, why can't we be as happy as Bhutan? It's important, right, for us to say, what is the unique expression that I am endowed with? And how do I create a tailored strategy that allows me to unlock my potential, that is actually strategically aligned to what's great about me? And the more we do that, the more we're able to move beyond our limitations and really grasp the full opportunity that is inherent in this experience that we call life. And the final key is my personal favorite. Be generous with your walk and your work. The spirit of generosity and the power that is locked within generosity is not to be undermined. When we think about the power, right, of what it means for us to stand there and say, I've made this journey. I've gotten that business model together. I've gotten that relationship I always wanted. It's not enough for us to sit there and say, that's it. We have to turn around and share the lessons that we learned along the way. We have to be able to say, now that I have this product, how can I actually use it to be a testament to this journey that I've taken? How can I use it in service of humanity? And so I want to share with you an experience that we launched, my team and I, earlier this year. I invented a holiday. And so many people think that's kind of crazy, but I did. I took the chance and I invented a holiday called the International Day for Dreamers. And the International Day for Dreamers was the first ever global experience that sought to unite the world together through achievement and aspiration. And people all around the world participated, were generous with their desires, things that were very unique to them, things that they probably never would have shared with anyone, but they felt inspired and galvanized to not only put forth their dreams, but to create strategies. And as I started to get these pictures from people all around the world, I realized that whether you're an individual who's homeless on 42nd Street, whose dream is to become a painter in New York City, or you're a young woman in Bali whose dream is to write a novel and share it with other dreamers, or you're a father whose dream is to create a new life for your family, or you're a group of 7-year-olds whose dream is to create that perfect split. No matter who we are, we all have something inside of us that we want to activate, and that we seek to bring forth into the world. August 25th was the International Day for Dreamers. And I and a whole bunch of dream activists around the world were on a crusade to activate dreams. But it's not enough for me to sit here and rather stand here in front of you and share this with you. I want to give you the gift of how it happens. So let's actually look at how you use this construct of inspired excellence to empower your business ideas, your individual goals, as well as what you would want to activate in your community. And I'm going to do that through explaining the International Dreamers and how it came to life. Embracing purposeful intention. I knew I wanted to create a transformational experience that will unite the world and really create something that was going to empower people on many levels. But I knew I couldn't do it alone. I had to curate a team of dedicated dream activists all around the world who were just as passionate about this idea as I was. And then from there, we had to say, what is it that I truly value about this experience? What matters the most to me? And what's going to matter the most to this idea that we hope to serve the public with? And what it came down to me was creativity, collaboration, and contribution. And so we structured the entire experience around those three key pillars, those values. And then when it came to thinking about honoring my uniqueness and honoring the uniqueness of the idea, I said, it's not enough for me to say I want to create this unique idea called the International Day for Dreamers. How can we actually use it so that each person in every local environment could create an individualized experience for themselves? So the dream activists were able to take that idea and say, how can I serve Nigeria with that idea? How can I serve Australia with that idea? And so what we had were unique expressions of this idea in unique, powerful ways. So in Atlanta, we had dream dating. In Australia, we had dream yoga. In Chicago, we had poetry dedicated to dreams. In New York, we had a spread light event that was all around inquiry-based questions around our dreams. So the question for you really is, how are you actually bringing forth that power of intention in your own life and for your own business? What are you curating in order to make that happen? How are you identifying and committing to the things that matter most to you? How are you honoring the uniqueness that is inherent in your product, in yourself, in your community? And how are you being generous with that? How are you sharing the insights that come from that journey of being impassioned? We all have a key, and we all know that we can actually use that to unlock our potential. So my invitation to all of you watching on a live stream and sitting in the audience is, take that key, unlock that door within you, and step onto the path of inspired excellence. And that's how we live inspired and achieve excellence. Thank you.